might happen or it
Mm-hmm.
could happen, but
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't always happen within within a Christian's life. But that's
And that's a true statement. But the challenge is, why doesn't it happen? It
right.
doesn't happen because God isn't willing or able. It happens because people are on different levels of their faith. And that's where you need to do the introspective work of, and this is going to sound weird to say this because we're talking about healing, and you would be like, well, why wouldn't someone want to be healed? But you really need to ask yourself, do I want to be healed? And then again, what am I willing to do to receive it? Because it's already mine. Like,
You've asked that before. Do I want to be healed, or do I want to sit in my I
well,
don't call it sorrow, but do I want to? Do I?
is it serving? Because that place is serving a purpose in your life right now. You know what I mean? Or is it? Is what I always tell people. I ask, do you want to be healed? Because if that happens, then certain things go away that may be, again, serving purpose in our lives, which is mostly attention, and things like that. And that's just the flesh, and we don't want to cater to the flesh. Okay.
So one of the things that diabetes brings me is, as how does this going to sound? It brings me structure. Or it brings a structure to my life that there are things that I have to do every day to be healthy. And I'm wondering if one of the things I may not want to give up is that structure. I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
No, I actually understand what you're saying. It's kind of like what I tell people about how the things that we need to learn, we can either choose to learn them by wisdom, or God will allow circumstances for us to learn them through experience. So if discipline and order and structure is something that we as Christians are supposed to learn, but we haven't yet, and this thing comes in and we learn it through that, right? So
wow.
Can I try to interject what just came into my head and see if I can articulate it? Because I'm relaying it to my own current situation of where my faith is. You asked the question, why wouldn't I? Right? Because here's the real reality. If we take that leap of faith wholeheartedly, all in, and we start confessing this, declaring it to people publicly, saying we're expecting to see God heal, and then he does it, for whatever reason. Now, okay, I'm just saying, I shouldn't say then he does it, then it doesn't manifest. Where does that not only leave us, right, but where does that supposedly leave him with regards to the reputation of this ministry that we're professing, right? So for me, sometimes, again, I try to play divine, all-knowing, infinite being. And if I can't figure all those things out, I just won't even go there, because I want to have a absolute. And if I can't give myself that absolute, then I won't go there. So it's a self-preservation of ourselves, but also we think we're protecting the reputation of God because we don't want to make him look bad if this thing doesn't happen.
Isn't even more basic than that? If I'm looking for it to happen, and it's going to happen, and I'm expecting it to happen, aren't I turning God into a slot machine? Not
if your intention from where your expectation is coming from is rooted in trusting the Lord, which is what he told us to do. He says, put me in remembrance of my own word. Tell me and stand on my word, because it's the only thing that doesn't change, and that is faithful. It's really actually an act of obedience if your heart is in the right place.
Yes.
The challenge is that most people's heart isn't in the right place, and there are people who use him as a magic genie and a slot machine. But that shouldn't have anything. He didn't say that, well, if everybody got to be on the same page or I won't do this. He said, you, according to your faith, be it unto you. So my job is to make sure I'm coming from the right place when I expect God to do what he said he's going to do. not because I'm boasting, not because I'm bragging, not because I'm even naturally worthy, but divinely worthy because he said so. It literally is that because I said so type of thing. Like that's crazy, but that's true.
But you know, dealing with that and fighting with that is maybe playing into the, if I'm not saved, why should he heal me? And yeah, go ahead. I know you want to say something.
Because I'm writing down and I'm chomping at the bit, because that right there, anytime I get new revelation, I'm like, wait, pause, let me share this. One, fighting with him, that ain't what we're supposed to do. You know that. So let's work on our words on that too, because the battle belongs to the Lord, right? He already fought and defeated him again. So
submit to God, resist the devil, and he
resisting is what we're doing. We're not fighting the devil, we are resisting the devil. That's right. Number one. Okay, so we're gonna alter that speech with that. But when you say the enemy has entered into your head and tried to place a thought of doubt regards to your salvation, let me tell you where some of your Coach J attitude needs to come in at, okay, with this whole, we in our culture, we call it black girl magic. So you can take that and run with it however you want. However you want, okay? But I wish the devil could have such an easy task as to try to make me question my salvation. Like, he gonna have to work a whole lot harder to come at me with something better than that, because we ain't even discussing, like, that ain't even on the table, okay? Amen. So the resolve that I have about who I am, he can't even bring that to the table with me. So you have to decide for yourself where you're going to draw the line in with him. And I think that's a great place to start, where don't even come at me about my identity anymore, dude, because we're not having that discussion.
To take quiet strength and use that quiet strength as to kick his tail into next week.
It's kind of like when we're joking around and I tell you and I share these things, it's like, obviously you don't have to be me, but you have to find within you that is equivalent to that same feistiness or whatever you want to call it kind of thing. There is because it can go both ways, just like how your quiet strength can be misconstrued as passivity. My ruthlessness can be misconstrued as ghetto-ness. Like, I know that, you know what I mean? But I also know that how to discern it, how to activate it properly, and how to use it, again, as my armor, if you will, or part of my armor.
And now he's taken me out of California and putting me in Texas. And now it's where I can start to really take ownership of my
who
identity
you are
in
in Christ. Absolutely. See, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
absolutely. And here's the thing, going back to something we said earlier about sort of like the sooner we get it, the sooner we'll see the manifestation of these other things. So I say it 100 times. We think we're waiting on God, and God is really the one who's waiting on us. So, like, seriously, dude, you just have to decide, am I ready? Because if I'm ready, God's ready. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, I am ready. I am ready to take the next step, and I realize that taking that step may take 17,000 minutes to do, but I've already taken the next step. I've taken a few next steps, so it's time to take another next step, and each next step leads to another next step, which is part of the beauty of my relationship with God.
That's the thing too that people need to realize, is that we're so much living for, I want to say like an end point or something. Like, there is no end point. So if you're going to be highly disappointed if you're never satisfied, let's just say, with reaching a certain point, because there's always another point. So learning how to get to a point, be content with that point, and be excited about the next one versus, oh gosh, now I have another point to do, or it's gone already, or whatever the mindset is. Like, I'm in this flow of life is continuously fluid, and absorbing and living in the moment is the only way, again, I don't get burdened down by the
Amen,
fact that
sister.
we're always taking steps. Yeah, like, you know.
Preach it. Preach
I'm-
it. I like that.
That's what I do, darling. I'm telling you. My title as life coach, right?
Yeah.
What does life stand for? The acronym. This is a
I'm
new
sure-
one, so you won't know this.
Go
one.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Living with intense and fearless execution. Intense and fearless execution.
Okay, I got that one down.
All
And I
right.
was able to type that in with the right
With the
letters.
proper-
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, again, I want to just emphasize that so that we're all on the same page. We're all on one accord with how we are representing this program to others. And when you have certain things like that, you know,
Yep.
we are a squad and this is what we represent. My life coach, this is what she represents. LIFE, living with intent and fearless execution, you know, stuff like that. I activate and live that and know that and meditate on that. And that's why I have the results that I have. And so should y'all.